Well, hello there guys and welcome to the channel. So it's Sunday once again. Unfortunately I'm a bit late, but I hope you guys will excuse me. There were a couple of deep dives that somebody needed reviewing. And yeah, so we have tons of things to talk about, and Mando is finally back after a long and arduous week. So let's all welcome back Mandalorian, who is
Hey,
obviously my amazing co-host.
thank you. No, I'm happy to be back. Not only did I have to deal with some other health issues, then I got a nasty cold again, which was just great with all these allergies and everything. So, but I'm back. Yeah, I'm back, ready to rock and roll and get some new information going.
Yeah, so we have quite a few things to talk about, but first, before we can discuss all the new stuff, we have to discuss the main thing currently in the game, because no matter what else happens, a new champion doesn't get added, doesn't matter. Whatever, you know?
Yeah,
The main thing, if the game doesn't work, there is no game.
there's no game, and one of the, I mean. I would say once every couple years we get this crazy bug. We get a bug of some sort that just kind of
Yeah.
festers and sticks around and just kind of it causes some issues for longer than a normal bug. You know, some bugs, they're fine, maybe a month at most. We know what's going on, they know the fix. But this has been a really weird
Yeah, and
one.
also, like, a lot of the bugs are, like, champion-centric, node-centric, or game
Right, right. Yeah,
mode-specific.
yeah.
But this is, like, global, widespread, so it immediately
Yeah.
is significantly more, well,
I mean,
troublesome.
this reminds me of the bug that happened like almost 2 years ago in like October, where they had to end the war season early, just like they just recently did. I mean, just like that. And I forgot what that was for, but I just remember that they had to do that because some crazy stuff was going on. And anyway, long story short, I will say, and I think we said this last week too, the fact that they've kind of got ahead of it by giving out these compensations for every time an Alliance Quest week starts, and they've been communicating the issues, and then they've had a beta test to fix the issue, and they've got kind of a rough timetable, and they've communicated that, hey, we're not going to have it by the update, but we'll have a hot fix sometime shortly after the update, and we're not going to start certain key events until that's fixed, is kind of nice.
Yeah, I definitely must say that as far as it goes to Kabam dealing with an issue or a problem or a bug,
Mm-hmm.
then this is about as well as we have seen them operate.
Absolutely.
The
Yeah.
packages and compensations are upfront, not 6 weeks after and stuff like that, and the information is there. We might not like everything they have to say and that it wasn't fixed in a week or two, but this is pretty much the first thing ever that I can recall that, yeah, they sent consistent kind of like packages, timely manner before the weeks
Mm-hmm.
of Alliance Quest start. They have sent regular potions. I wish that they had sent some refills and stuff
Energy
like that as
refills?
well.
Yeah, and
Uh,
energy refills was really the one thing I was
yeah,
hoping to get, which we didn't, which is maybe they'll give that later, once they fix everything. I don't know. All I can say is that if you run Alliance Quest, you've been getting more glory. I've never heard of more people having like almost have to spend glory just willy nilly because they're running out of. They're gonna have max out their glory.
yeah. I currently have
So
537 glory. I have spent.
oh, you spent it all.
Well,
Yeah, I
no, well, to
gotcha.
be honest, I do have like 9k in the compensations that I haven't claimed.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, I've been claiming it as it goes on, and I'm still sitting at 10K right now after buying everything I pretty much want for the week, and I'll drop it down to like 6K before the next compensation. I mean, not compensation, the week ends, so that way I won't hit the max. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just like that they've done it in such a way where it's not just one compensation; it's consistent,
Yeah,
where they
and the
know it's
fix is on the
ongoing.
way as well. Now it's not too
Yeah,
long left now. It's 1st of August. We're already in the
yeah,
month of August, and the update's on Tuesday, so it's on 3rd of August.
yeah.
That patch should be coming out shortly afterwards. So I
Yeah.
legitimately expect it to be worked out and sorted out by end of the week. be honest. Hopefully.
Maybe, yeah, it'd be great if it is. I'm not gonna put them on a timetable that I don't know. I just know that it will be sorted out. Communication's been amazing with it.
Oh, by the
They
way,
just sent out,
just as a side note,
yeah.
till we get to actual champions discussing them, because we got the deep dives, I found a new
Yeah.
function on my live streams, and that is to create a poll. And I think I'm going to be doing that a bit more frequently. Currently, we have 38 votes in the poll, and basically, it's kind of asking you to pick one in between Penny Parker, Spider-Man 2099 by your initial impressions. Obviously, let's keep in mind that we just saw the deep dive. We haven't seen CCP reviews. We haven't had a chance to play with these champions, and quite often champions take a while to kind of get into their own. So this is just kind of like, let's say, excitement poll, not that we're strictly saying that one champion is going to be better than other and stuff like that. But which one do you like more?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I know we'll talk about it more, but I'm honestly excited for both of them because they both have different potentials. But yeah, we'll talk about that more. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't think they could have done it any better. What they've been doing with the parry issue and the compensation and communicating and everything.
Well, the only thing better is like if they did it faster, but obviously that's easier said than done. And to be honest, again, I prefer that they don't rush it. I'd rather than take a month than a week. But if they can make sure that it's fixed properly after a month.
Yeah. And delaying the Summoner Showdown, delaying the next war season starting, all that has been great. The only thing I'm worried about is once they fix it, we've had to adjust to the parry timing now.
Yeah. It's gonna be tricky.
But I think we'll be able to adjust back a lot quicker than...
But I think that the issue with parry is like, A, it doesn't register sometimes, or like your deck sometimes doesn't register, so that's just gonna go away by itself. And B, with the parry timing, I think that currently we are just operating in a more narrow parry window. So after the update, I don't think there's gonna be any problem adjusting back. I think it's just that it's going to be that, whereas some parries would be too late or too early now, then they would still count as. But in general, I don't know. I think it's not going to be that big of a deal. It's kind of like, imagine if you're getting a weekly salary of £500 or dollars, and then you get put on 200, and then going back to 500, it's not hard, it's better.
Well, what I was going to say is if you're a new player that started just using parry during this time, you're going to be better at parry by the time they fix this than probably ever. Like, you've learned it the hardest way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely good. I think it was good. But
by the way, how Kabam tipped here.
Yeah, Kabam tips here. And I do want to just give praise to Kabam. Like, not just Kabam, but actually all of Kabam in general, because even though this is a bug, I feel like they've handled this bug better than any other bug we've seen. And I hope this is a sign of the way they'll do things from here on out.
Hopefully.
You know what I mean?
There is one thing, though, that I immediately went to ask about tipped, and then we're going to move on. The Mole Man bug fix. What exactly are you fixing? Because everybody is asking. Exactly what's changing about Mole Man.
All it says in the notes is fixing the interaction with true accuracy with other champions.
Here's the release notes, and I don't know if Kabam Tip knows about it, but if he does, then it will just help us out when we're discussing that segment further on. The Mole Man fixed an issue where his true accuracy passive would not interact correctly with other champions. Can you please just kind of like clarify for us?
Or if you don't know.
If you know.
Or if you don't know.
Or if you don't know, you don't know. That's fine. We're just going to have to wait and see. Does this mean Does this mean that his frenzy is going to... his true accuracy is going to go away to enter frenzy now? Or that is strictly his interaction with different champions? Like, I know that Overseer was able to auto-block him now and then.
What I was going to say is if he doesn't know the answer, maybe he could get them to release a clarification. But
yeah, because everybody's talking and asking about it now. There's a forum.
That's just something we'd want to know. But he just mentioned too, just for everybody that's not here live and not in the chat, he mentioned that the engineering team has been working on the parry nonstop since it heard about it, and it was true nightmare fuel issue, which is, I'm sure, but like I said, they really need. We talk about bugs and stuff like that a lot, but this is the one time when I'm talking about bugs, and I'm actually more positive about it because of the way the communication's been, because of the way that
Yeah,
Kabam has
this time I
handled the
don't even feel
situation.
too mad. Like, you know,
No,
I don't
no,
feel angry at all, just because they have been on top of it.
yeah, like they're really good. So anyway,
but yeah,
we'll come back to the mole
that
man.
still leaves the final thing, because they have done everything perfect so far. But you know what matters the most is how they finish. So the things that matter the most is how long is it going to be till that patch fix, whether that patch quick release whatever thing actually solves the problem properly. And lastly, the big question, because everybody somehow, from what I have heard, has hyped themselves up for the final compensation that has been mentioned here.
Oh, yeah.
And that, I think that is quite a bit of a problem, because it's kind of an unknown.
Yeah.
And every single person that has asked me about this compensation has kind of automatically by default referred to it as the big compensation. And everybody is throwing around terms like Nexus and, you know, Catalyst and stuff like that. And, well, first of all, I will have to, for myself, like, obviously I'm going to have to see whatever it is to judge it, but I'm being very careful not to get my expectations too high, and that is exactly what I recommend to everybody else as well.
What I was going to say, KT, is Kabam Tip said, I'm not sure on the Mole Man stuff. Sorry, I'll see if I can dig anything up based on discussions. My involvement in Champion is close to nil.
Yeah, no worries.
But thank you for that, Kabam Tip. Also, what I was going to say, though, is you can really look back to, like I said, that same compensation 2 years ago. Obviously, the game's changed, but I would say maybe a little bit more updated one from about 2 years ago in October, November time. I think it was like 2018, 19, somewhere around there. They had a big compensation that they had to give us. And I think we were overall happy with it, so maybe it's the same, but we'll figure that out. I'm not worried about that right now.
Anyways, we can move on to the next subjects, but before we do, first of all, yeah, thank you, Messiah, for
$66.99.
anti-pining thing.
I'm just here for the team. I better not be fined.
Not that this is overly popular grind, but I did get the Chavez. So I don't know if it was worth it. I really don't think it was worth it. But she went quite high, by the way, guys. She did go quite high. Because I put up 140 million for her, which I thought is going to be significantly too much. But you guys know my approach to grinding for champions is that I'll be damned if I miss. And luckily, so far, I have not missed a 6-star grind. So I always try to do more than I think she's going to go for. And I put up 140 million, and I got spot 73. So it's quite clear, I think, that she went quite high. For pretty much no other reason than she's a new champion. Because she's one of the worst champions in 2021. And that's saying a lot.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's a new champion. Maybe the hope is also not only is it a new champion, but she may eventually get buffed, and that will just be one less champion you have to worry about getting.
Yeah, true. Exactly.
Well, congratulations on that.
That's what I always say when somebody asks me why am I grinding for that champion. It's like, well, A, maybe there's going to be some insane synergy with her for like an important champion. B, she might get some love from Kabam not too far from now. And C, I'd rather be the guy with the champion than without if she starts to matter. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, congrats on that.
Thank you.
Let's
Summer of Pain.
Summer Pain, yeah, this week. Which I saw your video, and we saw the live stream, obviously, and it was Symbiote Supreme this week. We knew it was probably going to be a Mystic because about 20 minutes, 15 minutes before it started, you know, they always release the solo objectives, and this week had the Cosmic, for Thronebreakers, that is, Cosmic Champion, which was a pretty difficult one. If you didn't have Hercules or like RNG went your way with Hyperion and such.
Angela was still a great option.
Angela, all those were kind of rough. If you were just a Cav player, it seemed like any Science Champion overall could get it done.
Decently good Science Champions pretty much in solo.
Yeah. And then, you know, we had the Mercenary tag or the Controlled Denial tag. Not just Control, but Controlled Denial. And there was only one champion that could get 2 objectives this week, and that was Taskmaster.
Yeah, and luckily he was one champion that could also solo.
Yeah, it was one of the ones that could solo. So a lot of people had trouble soloing. I know that, and this is what I want to mention again. You know, it's not. KT always solos. He always solos without being boost so far, okay? He does take some tries. He does, you know, work it out in his mind. He does practice live. But in the regards, he normally solos within the first 15 to 20 minutes of the fight coming out at max. But everybody else, you don't need to feel as if you have to solo. You don't need to feel as if you have to do it. The rewards are juicy, and we're getting down to the last 2 weeks now. We've got week 8 and week 9 where we have the final points that would get us the maximum if you're a Thronebreaker, or the maximum points you're able to get if you're Cavalier. But this week was definitely one of the more trickier fights, which made it feel like a Summer of Pain fight.
Well, exactly. Because, like, what I liked about this week was not necessarily that it was one of the trickier fights, that it was still easy for the first completion. Like, I literally took in Human Torch, fought like ass, soloed with the first try, no problem there, yeah? And then it was tricky with the objectives, which I feel was something that they were quite unable to... Whoopsies. I'm gonna get back. I feel was something that they were quite unable to achieve previously, where the fight was what it was, and then objectives were not difficult, they were just boring. Especially like Venom one. Venom was literally worse than fighting Winter Soldier in Realm Legends, because you could use any champion so long as you don't use heavy attacks, so long as you don't use special attacks. Like, you know, it just is not it. It just is not it.
Yeah, it was... That one was not the greatest fight. I think that the Thronebreaker objectives to get the more points and stuff has made it... I feel like this is the first week where those Thronebreaker objectives actually made it more of a challenge than other weeks.
Exactly. And I also like the distribution in this fight, where every objective had potential to solo. For sure it had.
Yeah.
And then...
You definitely... You either had to use boost or have like a highly ranked champion, maybe, but you could solo it.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to say. That's what I like, because every objective had, let's say, 2 or 3 champions that can like relatively comfortably get in the solo. But then you had another like 4 or 5 champions that can get it done with like a revive 2 or 3. And worst comes to worst, you can still kind of like nuke it down. And well, that's kind of like the last resort if you don't have any of the better options, which I also kind of feel like I did enjoy it on a personal level. I did enjoy that it wasn't just, I don't know, bring in any champion and qualifies for objective and just hit, don't heavy, don't use special attacks. Honestly, that Venom fight was pathetically bad, I think. This one was quite complete opposite, where there was a lot of thought put into it, starting with the fact that Symbiote Supreme's attack value was not increased, just his health, unlike other champions. So his attack was like 4 or 5 times lower than the rest of the weeks. He also had lower SIG level, so you get staggered less often. And even the node combination, I think maybe putting on that close encounters node, the one that degens you if you're far away, was a bit too mean. Because like... if it wouldn't be there, then you could have another reasonable way how you can outplay it by stopping attacking him when the third phase is about to start, which is when he nullifies. Then you could just kind of like pause it, wait till the buffs fall off. He enters that phase, and nullification happens, but it doesn't really hurt you too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the placebo definitely was a rough one.
No, placebo obviously is what made the fight hard. But I'm thinking close encounters is kind of like what may have put it a bit too overkill.
I see what you're saying.
Because,
sorry, I misunderstood you. I thought you were talking about placebo.
You could play around placebo and Sim's abilities if you didn't have to worry about close encounters, because then you could just stop hitting him when he's in his third phase, because he nullifies all the buffs automatically whenever he enters that phase which he starts the fight with. Then,
right.
Then it would be perhaps even a bit more skill-based than it is now, because now it's borderline impossible to avoid big nullifications. But all in all, I must say that this fight design definitely kind of definitely, I don't know, relighted my interest in the Summer of Pain.
Yeah. Here we go. Kabam Tip just came up with an update, by the way. This is what I was looking for. Sorry, that's why I misheard you. I'm just guessing on the moment thing, but I think could it be that moment's true accuracy could have been not interacting correctly with Penny Parker's true
I
accuracy
thought it would be
immunity thing.
something about Penny Parker or Overseer or something like that, because I do remember for a fact that on Cav node Overseer did auto block my Mole Man, and
Yeah.
you know, because it says interaction with other champions, it doesn't say anything about frenzy mode and stuff like that. And I thought that like if they would change that, they would surely like actually say that, because if they don't mention that true accuracy in frenzy mode thing, but change it regardless, then that would be just again extremely underhanded. You know, it would just give impression that I don't know, there's absolutely no kind of courage to say what you're actually doing. But anyways, yeah, no, I think so as also. We're gonna discuss that a bit further on as well, but let's finish up this segment. Thank you, Kabam Tip, by the way. Thank you very much.
Yes, and thank you for that, Kabam
But yeah,
Tip. That's what I was kind of looking at, and then I was reading another chat. That's why I misheard you. Sorry about that,
it's like the Sim Supreme fight also kind of like got a lot of hate, and as I said, the only possible issue that I have is that it could have had somewhat slightly higher skill element to it, because there is almost unavoidable damage there, and
right.
So if there wouldn't be close encounters thing, then perhaps it would be a bit more straightforward. But all in all, still, I like this fight. From all of the weeks that we have had milestones, Thronebreaker, I have liked this fight the most. I think my favorite fight ever is still the Rogue fight, for what it was.
Yeah, and that was the first week, which is really crazy. But yeah, I think
this is the best week with the Thronebreaker objectives, where I think the objectives are fair, because it's meant to be Summer of Pain. You're not meant to not use a single item for it, right? And
yeah. I had to use one revive with my Herc just because he couldn't get him down like the last 12%. But what I'll tell you though is it was just fun trying to find it. And I like the fact that Hercules, even though he's a new champion, he kind of got a little bit more reason to shine. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but he got more reason to shine on this fight because he did have the ability to counter for that cosmic node, or cosmic objective, I should say. But overall, I know this fight was very hard if you were trying to go for those, or I wouldn't say very hard, but it was more challenging to go for those Thronebreaker objectives for what you had to do, and having to have the right champs, or if not, just using a little bit of items. But it was definitely worth it.
Yeah, and I'm still itemless, by the way. I'm still boostless, still itemless.
Yes, you are. Yeah, boostless and itemless with 2 weeks left.
And this is currently kind of like my intrigue. Will I finish the 9 weeks without using any items? I hope I will.
And so someone else had asked, because it still says there's 30 days and some hours left until the objectives claim. From what we've been told, next week is the same as normal. It's a new new fight, new Thronebreaker objectives, and the following week is the same thing, except it's going to have 2 weeks to allow you to finish it. But we don't know of anything else.
There is one more thing about that Summer of Pain, because the last week, right? What I think is going to happen, actually, I think we all collectively kind of misunderstood it a bit, right? And I might be purely speculating here, but a lot of people have been asking this question. So with the Summer of Pain, if you listen to the wording that it says here, each week for 9 weeks, a new fight will be the feature previous week's fight removed, so don't miss a week of punishment. Further increase the difficulty starting on 4th week. We'll also have difficult solo objectives, whatever. The final challenge will go live on August 18th. Yeah?
Right.
Check out August 18th. And August 18th, so the next week, the week 8 starts on August 4. Yeah?
Correct.
The week 9 starts on August 11.
Correct.
That's it. That should be it. That, in theory, on August 11 should be when we're done earning the points.
The points, correct.
And then I think from August 18th till, September 1st or whatever it ends, there's going to be a separate quest featuring horrific highlights from the previous weeks. So I think we have kind of we have overly focused on the number 9, when in reality it's going to be basically 10 things. It's going to be 9 individual fights.
Correct.
Where we earn the milestones points for the solo event. And I think
Correct.
there's going to be week 10.
Yes.
Where we do not earn any points anymore, and as far as that solo event has gone, it's gone, and it will have individual rewards. Let's say Gauntlet version 1.5 or something like that.
Yeah. So
that is what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, and I agree with you with that, because someone else was asking me, and I've got 2 things, and I think you are going from the same thing I am also. I think it's going to be a highlight mini boss rush kind of thing for week 10, because 2 things that was said, and I remember Kabam Tip kind of let this slip. Kabam Tip had said back on when he was here during, I forgot when it was. It was either a KT time or it was during I think it was a live stream. But he basically said, as far as he knows, week 9 is still just one fight. He said, but week 9 is not the end. That's exactly what his exact words were. Week 9 is not the end. And I think based on that, plus the information we have and how we've been reading, I think you're right. We've been reading it wrong. And with that information, I think there may be a boss rush where maybe you can only bring in 3 champions, but you've got to fight all 9 of the bosses or something. I don't know. Or maybe just 6 of the 9 or something like that. Like something 2 champions for each one. So it's definitely going to be interesting.
I think I'm going to make a video on this tomorrow, because everybody keeps asking for it, and I legitimately think that there's going to be the big finale, so to speak, because otherwise it would kind of even feel maybe a little bit anticlimactic. But the idea, we all have been hung up on the 9 weeks, on 9 kind of like, challenges, 9 fights kind of thing. But that is not the case, because if you read it again carefully here, it says, each week, for 9 weeks, a new fight will be featured and the previous week's fight will be removed. So don't miss a week of punishment. Further increase the difficulty, starting 4th week, all the fights will also have difficult solo objectives for you to try and overcome. The final challenge, the final challenge, that's a separate. So everything that's said before, put it down. That's the 9th week there, right? This is the week 10. The final challenge will go live on August 18th, because that would be the 10th week. As I said, The final challenge will go live on August 18th. Feature horrific highlights from previous weeks, all leading up to a fight that has likely haunted your dreams before. And it's going to be open for 2 weeks. So likely there's going to be a 10th boss that we have not seen. There are going to be probably, let's say, 9 or whatever fights that we did before, that we all have to do in one quest, and a new 10th boss. And I do think that event will have a completely separate reward structure.
Right.
And going to be something awesome. Hopefully it is.
Yes. I think you're absolutely true. I think you're absolutely right, and that's kind of the same thing. I do think it may be like another mini gauntlet, but more in the style of Summer of Pain, and maybe not as many fights, obviously. So it's like, I think I would consider it not necessarily Gauntlet version 2, like someone else said, like Jacobkanda said.
I said Gauntlet 1.5. Like but kind of like Boss Rush or Gauntlet 1.5 or whatever else.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going to be. That's what I think it is going to be. Oh crap, I hadn't this enabled. Haha, I was reading it from here, but I forgot to enable my screen capture.
Yeah, I was wondering what I was like, well, he's reading it from somewhere, but you just saw the Summer Pain thing. It's all good.
Yeah, here is the text. You see, it says up until here. I'm going to read it again just for the clarity, just so it's up on the screen. Each week, for 9 weeks, a new fight will be featured, and the previous week's fight will be removed. So don't miss a week of punishment. Further increase the difficulty, starting from 4th week, all the fights will also have difficult solo objectives for you to try and overcome. Separate this. Realistically, look at this as a new paragraph now there, yeah? The final challenge. So this is after 9 weeks have finished. The final challenge will go live on August 18th. Feature horrific highlights from the previous weeks, all leading up to the fight that has likely haunted your dreams before. Right? And then we can open calendar.
Yep.
There we go, calendar. Okay, whatever. and we're in August. Yeah, so we can take a look at August. You see, the week 8 starts on 4th. Week 9 starts on 11th. But they specifically selected the date of They specifically selected the date of 18th of August, right? So that would already account for 10th week. So it would be in a 10th week, and that then it would fit perfectly for finish at end of August, because that would be live for, well, these 14 days. Also, Kabam Tip says the reward structure is a mystery to me. If I had to guess, it could be a cosmetic thing, like arenas, or another set of juicy rewards. I think it's gonna be a set of juicy rewards. You don't use Kabam doesn't use the word juicy unless they know something. So stop bullshitting us. Yeah, mystery to me, my ass. You know exactly what's gonna be. I just hope that the profile picture is not as ugly as that Loki one. I'm sorry, but that Loki profile picture was shit for Korean challenges. Let's go. Let's trigger Kabam employees. Anyways. By the way, just so you guys know, for a bit of context, Kabam Tipped is the one who picked that picture for Korean challenges, so it's bad.
That's awesome.
Right.
But yeah.
But yeah,
that's
so overall summer
this week.
Which champions did you use, by the way?
Okay, so it was okay. Hold on, let me think about it again. It was Hercules, my rank 5 Sig 200 Hercules, as a 5-star, and I had to use 1 revive on that. Then I used, for the control, I used Warlock, my rank 3 Warlock, and I had to use 1 revive. But I almost got him down 100%. I was so mad. I probably could have gone back in, but I didn't want to waste time. And then the third one was Domino, the mercenary. That was easy.
Yeah, Domino was easy.
But yeah, but I used my 5-star, by the way. But that was a solo. That was no problem. So yeah, so I kind of wish that my 6-star Taskmaster was duped. I would have taken him up probably to rank 2 or maybe even 3 to try him out. That's
kind of cool. I just wish Kabam gave him a tiny bit of love. He's legitimately good. And
he seems like one...
the fact that I soloed that Sinister with Taskmaster. It is so good.
Yeah. I think that he's one that could potentially get a slight numbers tweak. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think a tiny... maybe numbers 2 could be good enough. Yeah, if he did significantly more damage exploiting weakness, I think that would be kind of good enough. And, inflicted more bleeds on his special attacks and more armor breaks and stuff like that. And maybe have like 7 debuffs on him. Oh, I think what would be cool if activating like level 1 or level 2 would place a debuff on him and he could go debuff immune by himself.
Yeah, that would be really cool if he could do that. Like kind of like what like maybe a debuff that doesn't do anything to you, but after so many times it like it does something. It maybe doesn't make you fully immune, but maybe it you may have to throw it a couple times to make you fully immune. You know what I mean? But yeah, definitely it'd be cool. Anyway, yeah, Summer Pain, great week. Kabam really did well this week.
Yeah, I did like it. Now because of this week, I look forward to the next one more.
Yeah, no, definitely has piqued my interest, I guess you should say. Definitely. But moving on, now, moving from Summer of Pain, we are talking about the new update, which is supposed to be coming out on Tuesday. So basically a little less than 48 hours from now, about 45 hours from now, if it goes as planned. It could be about 48. But
new update kind of sucks. But okay, no. Well, we do have that final thing on the Mole Man, because obviously a ton of people are worried about this line in the updates. There is something else, but this got specified. The power gain fixed an issue where occasionally power gain was able to go into negatives during certain situations. And this is why Kabam does it to themselves. I generally do not know who writes these things, but they're not good at their job. Promise. Because this thing would technically refer to Petrify. And that is a very old and solid practice, and there is ability power gain and it goes a negative. right?
Yeah.
And that would be a huge, huge, huge change when you could not reduce opponent's power, petrifying them by 200%, let's say. Right?
Yeah.
But what this
Right.
is meant to refer to is combat power gain, which still is a significant change, because currently, for instance, even in Alliance War, this is the only time when it could be helpful for us offensively. But in Alliance War, you know that node strike counter combat power rate?
Yeah.
And to where if you get too many stacks of those on you, you start losing power as you hit the opponent.
Correct.
Right. After this change, technically, you should not be losing power anymore. You should just remain at whatever power you are on currently. You will not be able to gain any more power. You should not be losing any more power.
Which is good.
Yeah. This is meant to refer to combat power rate cannot go below 0, basically. Even with like Punisher 2099 and Max, that tech mastery that reduces combat power rate, stuff like that. Against some champions who are not rank 5, I believe, you could go over 100% combat power rate reduction, and you would slowly be taking that power away. Now you can't do that anymore. You can either, if you get to the max, just not give opponent any power at all whatsoever, or obviously, again, reduce the amount. But this does not affect ability power, right? This is, for instance, if you petrify a Hyperion with Void and you have Fear of the Void active, Hyperion will still be losing his power and all that stuff. So I just want to make sure that people know that.
Right. Yeah. But it's still, it's nice that I know the wording sometimes.
The wording, because it doesn't say, because there are different, it says power gain, and power gain in our minds is an effect. Mordor has power gain, and power gain invokes completely different aspect of the game than combat power rate. Wouldn't you agree?
Right. Yeah. But the other changes are kind of cool. When I say kind of cool, I mean they're just nice little tweaks to things that would fix, like a little tiny fixes we probably noticed or maybe didn't notice because maybe we didn't use the champions as much, but it kind of fixes some issues with them.
But and this Mallman thing as well. So basically, which is the main thing that we want to address. Basically, his true accuracy should not go away when you enter frenzy. It should remain. His true accuracy should function exactly the same as it functions right now.
Correct. Yeah.
It's likely. This is not guaranteed. Take it with a grain of salt. But it's likely due to his interaction with Penny, who is meant to be able to auto-block him and possibly Overseer and a few other champions.
Right.
But
I was going to say,
confirm it when the update goes live. But as of right now, I don't think they're taking away that from Allman.
Yeah, I would say worst case scenario, since this has kind of brought up that question, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next month or so maybe they update the interaction notes for Moleman and maybe just actually say that he will keep it in frenzy mode.
I think and I hope that Kabam can will want to gain a cookie point with the player base and do the same thing with Moleman as they did with Kamala Khan.
Yeah.
When they knew that she's bugged, they just left her alone, and a year and a half later, they actually updated Kamala Khan description to let her function the way she does. So I'm low-key hoping that the same thing happens with Moleman. And maybe Ultron.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Ultron's still
I think
bugged
it's a good
bits, though.
I think it's a good hope, so to say, for
goodwill gesture.
We'll see. They've been doing, like I said, I've been impressed with their communication. I've been impressed with some of the things they're doing. When there's an issue, they've been doing really good. Just let's see what happens. We'll play it by ear, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But kind of spinning from that, with August approaching, hey KT, guess what we don't have? We don't have a crappy side
just take a look at
event.
these release notes to begin with. There's hardly anything in here that's like, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, and I finally got to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Right, month of August looks shit. I mean, there's a ton of little things happening, which kind of look neat, right? but neat accessories on a shit engine do nothing. If there is nothing happening next month of worthwhile, kind of like, significance, then the month is not a success. But that is what I think we kind of just got to the bottom of.
Yeah, exactly. I think we figured it out low key, why it's not looking as juicy in the release notes, because a big piece of the puzzle was misunderstanding something. Which, if that's the case, it may actually be good there's no side event this month. Well, granted, here's what I will say about the no side event thing, is that at least there's not a mediocre side event. Like, or one that's very tedious, or the rewards kind of suck or whatnot. We're going to have a bunch of, I kind of like some of the things they're doing. We're going to have different kind of solo objectives we can get throughout the month. They're going to do the arenas again, which are only going to be 2- and 3-star champions.
Yeah.
But they're going to have it 2 weeks instead of every week, because every week was a pain.
Yeah. Well. But the thing is, ultimately, it doesn't matter whether it's every week or it's every 2 weeks. What matters is how much effort you have to put in.
Correct. You're right about that. But I wouldn't mind. I guess the way to think of it is, remember when they did this a couple months ago and it was like refreshing every week? I'll be honest, I think I forgot 1 week.
I think I did them all, but yeah. Anyways, it's 2 and 3 stars. I just hope that they put in some units or something in these. Seriously, dude, because we don't know what the milestones are gonna be. Because here's the thing: inherently having an extra arena is not a bad thing.
Right.
It's only a bad thing if that arena doesn't give you anything besides it, like one thing. That event currency or whatever. Like, if you can earn something worthwhile, like, I don't know, a refill, or some units or something like that, so I don't mind at all. But if it's just an arena that you have to grind for the sake of grinding it, like, it's nothing to kind of, like, be happy about. But, still.
Messiah 66 $4 and
by the way,
Mod Gang Matters Laman.
Got another $5 coming in.
Yeah, thank you, Messiah. But in general, having no side quest, or let's say in this case, side quest is kind of like replaced with arena a tiny bit, because that arena is going to be where you get a lot of those solo objectives done.
My hope is that maybe if you just do the 2- and 3-star, majority of these objectives can be done, and that way people just feel like it is the side quest. It just happens to be arena.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, by the way, Kabam Tip. Well, Kabam Tip is here, and I'm gonna be absolutely blunt here. What the fuck was up with this month's side quest? Who had the bright idea to put 10 fights daily in there?
Yeah, I mean,
literally every single person that I have had the honor of interacting with in my life that plays this game hated this month's side event.
I think
it's the same quest 30 times or 20 times over and over and over again, 10 fights each time. Side quests should be no longer than 5 or 6 fights tops.
Yeah, I see what they did there. And especially because it also coincided with the summer
thing. I also know they did that, but it doesn't change the fact that it was tedious.
It's still annoying. Yeah, the side event is way too long. Because I'll tell you what, I am behind on my baby account, and even doing like 5 a day, it's taken forever to catch up. Because I have like 19 left right now, and doing 5 a day is like 3 hours of my time.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just too much damn work. Because even if I would have done it daily, that would have been close to 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. No, well, it's not quite as much. I did it daily, and it depends. It takes significantly longer if you try to get the extra points.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Like, I actually got the 1,000,000 points for using Cap Infinity War with all the fights up until like 3 days ago. 3 or 4 days ago, but yeah. I was just using Cap Infinity War I brought in my 6-star rank 1 and then my 5-star rank 5 SIG 200, and I was alternating using both of them after a while. And I got my 1,000,000 points I want to say like Wednesday or Tuesday last week finally. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like Will W said, people were made mini games out of it. And if you have to make a mini games out of it, like who's fastest at hit monkey, uh, yeah, I mean, that's too long. It's too long of a quest. I'm sorry. That's all I just want to say. It was definitely.
But either way, so no side event. Next month we're gonna have a total. Oh, another thing that literally made me laugh. I don't understand why they insist on this. This is such a waste of effort. This daily login calendar.
The 5-day login?
50, 75, 100, 125, 150, 200, and 300 shards. So it all adds up to 500, 6, 7, whatever, 1,000 shards a week, yeah?
Yeah.
So it means that
at the end of the
you need
month,
4,000 shards to form one catalyst. That means you need to... That means that somebody had to design a weekly calendar with all of those animations. Somebody had to code it in the game. And the net result of logging in 28 days straight is one side event Cavalier Crystal. Talk about a waste of time.
KT, they did the same thing this month. The difference was it also gave us, because on the 7th day,
well,
it
no,
would give us an entry
it was
plus...
the Club of Hephaestus, and it was double the amount. This month it had a purpose to give us daily quest entries.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What they did was they took the purpose away and they just left the shards, and the shards are very underwhelming.
Yeah, that's
very underwhelming.
Honestly, it's like they could take this entire thing out for all 4 weeks and add in 4,000 shards in arena milestones or
I don't want to. I mean, I'm gonna log in every day, but this is just insulting. It's insulting.
It is. It's so silly. It's like, what is the fucking point of having a daily calendar that you need to log in to get one cow crystal?
Yeah, it's annoying. It's
Things like
annoying.
this baffle me. Things like this genuinely make me think that whoever is doing this because he's told to do it by somebody who doesn't have a fully functioning brain or concept of value in this game.
Yeah.
It genuinely just looks pathetic.
Well, and what bothers me is that the last week of the month, it's going to give you like 4,000 to 6,000 depending on your level if you buy the daily deals. So it's going to give you a month's worth with one daily deal, most likely at the end of the month.
No, again, it's 4 weeks for one cow crystal that had to be coded into a cow.
No, that's what I'm saying. You're going to take 4 weeks, and it's going to equal one crystal, right? Because it's 4,000. But what I'm saying is, look at what they did this week with the daily deals. It's the same kind of crystal.
Yeah, no,
that's what I'm saying. One daily deal is going to give you more. If you're a Thronebreaker, it's going to give you more than 4 weeks combined if you buy one $5 deal.
Things just don't. Like, what's the point of adding this? Is just to have another thing to say that we're getting. It's like one cow crystal. Like, you can shove it up your rear end. I'm going to be more annoyed by having to claim it daily than I'm going to be happy for the 3-star that I get at the end of it, most likely. Why can't
let's be honest, you're going to be claiming other stuff, but
or anywhere else. Like, literally anywhere else. One cow crystal does not warrant 4 weekly calendars, is all I'm saying.
No. I agree with you. But I'm just saying, let's be honest, you're going to be logging in anyway.
Yeah,
it's
I know,
but
it just seems silly. It really does seem silly.
It does. It's not the greatest.
It's kind of like, I don't know, somebody's mailing me a penny a day. You know?
For a year.
Yeah. I'm quite sure that, it costs more than I get from it. Like, I'm quite sure that whoever had to code it in, like, his salary is worth more than whatever we all collectively are gonna get from it. Kind of thing. I generally don't understand what's the point of this.
It's not. There's no point.
There really
there's
is
no point.
Especially
let's stop harping on stuff, though.
Okay,
we got a lot to go
still,
so let's stop harping on that.
Yeah. Okay, the event crystal itself is, I'm not the biggest fan.
So we've got the crystals. It has been confirmed.
No 5-star, no 6-star still. Spider. Yeah.
So, as far as we know, he is in the game, but we don't know where he's going to be. So it'll probably be a deal or something somewhere. But yeah, we don't know where.
Might be an arena.
Maybe an arena. Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, that's true. But now we move into kind of the meat which is crazy that we're talking about this is the meat after all we've talked about the past 90
Yeah.
or 45, 50 minutes.
Oh wait.
The meat
Well,
of our
yeah.
What? Oh, the meat of our discussion today is we've got 2 new Spiderverse champions that they just released a deep dive on, which I will say I really liked the deep dive they released on them today.
Yeah.
It was nice to be able to see it. We did get our peek at a 6-star rank 4 and what the PIs look like. We didn't get a chance to see the attack values.
Yeah,
of the health pool.
unfortunately, I was looking, keeping an eye out for that, and I didn't see that.
Yeah, I was really hoping they'd show a versus screen to kind of show that.
Yeah.
But they didn't. Because I was the whole time I'm watching, they made you wait till the very end to show you that. But
I was waiting for it as well.
Without knowing the masteries and such, still 25K though for
it's quite a lot.
tech champion. That's pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Because tech is never considered like the highest.
The rest of the stats quite soon anyhow. But okay.
Yeah.
Let's start talking, and let's start talking with Spider-Man 2099, shall we?
Yeah. Let's talk about Spider-Man 2099. Looks. Let's just visually, he looks great.
Oh yeah, animations always look like animations always awesome.
Always amazing. I'm glad they went with his original suit because he does have another suit which is kind of like a whitish color too. It's not a good looking suit as I think. This is great suits, great powers. I like they made him science because it does fit into the science realm.
His ability kit is like fairly debuff heavy or extremely debuff heavy, so
yeah,
that also kind of fits the science theme.
He's gonna be great for like diss tracks for sure, diss track nodes, and it really. They kind of talked about it in there that you want to build up as many debuffs as you can on your opponent, and then
you
rupture
can keep
them
pausing
with a
them.
special.
Well,
you can pause them.
The first big thing, the best thing about the character, I think, is Spider-Man 2099 cannot gain buffs. Whenever he would gain a buff, he instead pauses his personal debuffs for 5 seconds. Personal stun debuffs cannot be paused. So that's effectively Red Guardian.
Yeah, I was going to say he's another Red Guardian now, and I think that's awesome because it makes him a great counter for like the Dormammu's.
Mojos, EMP modifications, stuff like that.
Even the Summer of Pain that we just saw that, you can't gain.
Yeah, he would have been very good against that symbiote.
Yeah. But basically, allowing it to pause those debuffs is awesome because he also has that the rupture feature, which we first saw with
landing lights and mediums, 25% chance to inflict rupture. Or if opponent has wither debuff active, then you have 100% chance to inflict rupture when you hit their block.
Yeah, which is also kind of cool as long as you're not facing a like the armor node where they become unblockable or something like that. It definitely is cool that you can put more debuffs just by hitting the block because you really could control their power even more that way because you're not causing direct hits.
Well, here's again the problem though. It's only the ability power gain. You don't actually kind of like control power. Which is kind of annoying.
Right. No. I meant just like the fact that you're able to put debuffs on them without giving them like the actual hit power versus. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool though. Like he's got some cool things in there, and then the fact that then when you build your.
But that's the thing. It's like he has some cool things, but does he really? Okay, let's break it down. What is rupture? Effectively, weak damage over time effect. That is because
it's a weak damage over time, but it's.
But I know
it's not so
functions
much
as for the rest of his kit, and it kind of like debuffs. Okay, what is wither? Right. It is a discount petrify. Shit.
It is.
It is.
It's one they just made up. Yeah. They just made it up to go with the 2 new champions.
50% of a petrify, but obviously will have its uses. But okay, then what? Exhaustion. It's literally the most shit debuff in the game. Does nothing basically.
Yeah, I agree with that.
15% common power rate. And what is the other thing that he can put on there? With the exhaustion.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, the. God, I forgot what it was. I'd have to look, but yeah, definitely.
Exhaustion rupture.
Exhaustion rupture withered. Slow. Can he do a slow with?
He can do a slow with a level 3. And I think
that's what it was.
Yeah, but slow is on level 3, so he is not a slow champion. Effectively, he is
no. Because you have to build up to level 3 to do that.
he is as much of a slow champion as much as Dark Spider-Man is a weight counter.
Correct.
You know,
Yeah,
Dark
he kind
Spider-Man
of
has the
he has it in his kit, but you're not going to use it in most fights. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way. But on the flip side, with those debuffs and the way he kind of handles them and such, it's
Here
going to
is
be
one thing that kind of worried me, or I kind of felt that he's missing. He has no chance of refreshing his debuffs, which is always a very important thing whenever you're dealing with somebody who pauses a debuff.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's so much you want them refresh. You just want to get as many as possible on there,
Well,
and
yeah,
then
but you
throw
want to
your
keep them.
special too.
That's the entire point
And
of
then
pausing them.
Well, the entire point of pausing them is so you can get to your special two without
Yeah, of course.
without losing any, obviously.
But then you don't
I know
want to
that
do
doesn't-
entire cycle again. You want to go back to special 2. Which means you
Yeah.
need to be on point with pausing them. Because you don't have much room for error.
Yeah, but if you can dex and pause, you gain that. I mean, that's an easy one to gain a buff to pause them. And I think, didn't they say a special one even allowed you to pause them too, I think?
Well,
I'd have to
special
go
one
back
gives
and-
you those charges that he otherwise only gets when he gets hit. And,
Yeah, when he gets
then
hit, the
he can
wither.
pause for longer.
That's what it was. Okay. I knew it was something. I didn't take notes. I should have. But yeah. Overall, okay, let me put it this way.
Yeah.
He's not a bad champion. I definitely need to see him and play him myself before I can comment further. I don't think there's anything that's making him, except for the immune to debuffs, which is very rare right now in the game. There's nothing that's really making him just stand out to me as a champion I'm going to want to...
Yeah, like I have very little desire for him initially. There is one
Right.
perceivable scenario in my head, though, where he could be awesome. Because that ability, like if you have max sig ability, whoopsie, I'm gonna have to scroll a ton now. If you have max sig ability, right,
Uh-huh.
then you have about 80% chance to reapply your raptures, right? And you should
Correct,
be able
yeah.
to keep detonating them. 1 second. You should be able to keep detonating them whenever opponent reaches a bar of power or 0 power, right?
Right.
So imagine a scenario where opponent, let's say Hyperion, constantly gaining power. Yeah?
Yeah.
And you constantly basically hit him once and power goes to 0. You hit him once, power goes to 0. You hit him once, power goes to 0.
Okay, with you.
You should be able to, or even better, you hit his block. Hitting block, he gains slight amount of power. Right?
Right.
And in theory, you should be able to consistently keep rapturing him and detonating him, and then you have 80% chance for those raptures to reapply. But as you're hitting his block, you have guaranteed chance to inflict a new rapture, and in theory, you should be able to do quite a huge amount of damage if opponent has consistent, persistent power gain happening on him.
Right.
If that works, that is a very specific condition, but it could be a very fun cheese. I just kind of like thought about it, right? But in general, absolutely, I do not see any value in this champion. Like, as in, why would you need him? As in, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
The way I see him is more or less the way I see Jubilee.
I wouldn't put him that far down.
Why?
I mean,
Jubilee has better
I
damage
wouldn't-
than he does. 100%.
well, we don't know that. That's I can't put that kind of judgment until I've played him.
Well, okay,
you know what I mean?
let me put it like this. I think his damage is going to be relatively shit. Because assuming that his damage is quite low.
We'll just have to. I think we're going to have to wait and see on him. I don't see. What I was trying to say is, I'm not saying he's going to be a bad champion. I'm trying to say I don't think he's going to be anyone you have to add to your roster right away. I think he may be able to counter specific, specific scenarios. I think he'll be good for like any place where if you were to get buffs and you get like I said, like what happened with Summer of Pain this week, if he's able to counter things like those. Now those are going to be few and far between most likely, unless they add them more as new nodes in Act 7 or variant content or war or whatever. We don't know. Map 8. There could be lots of things. So as of right now, I don't see a reason why we need a champion like this.
I know.
I was just gonna say, I just don't know if he's gonna be one of those champions we see in the future. He gets more time to shine, kind of thing, which could be the case. But he doesn't look like a champion you need to have. Visually, he looks great. He has
Oh
some
yeah, for sure.
interesting things in his kit, but I just don't know if he's gonna be. I don't know if he's gonna be as useless as Jubilee. Is
Oh
what
yeah,
I'm
by
trying
the
to
way,
say.
like when I use relatively strong language, keep in mind, like I by
Right.
no means I'm trying to make some final judgments. I'm just talking what
Right.
I currently think. Obviously, I
Yeah,
will look
which
at
makes
any and
sense.
all new information and readjust. I'm not trying
Yeah,
to
I
condemn the
just.
champion, but currently the
Yeah,
way I'm looking at him is honestly somewhat less useful version of Red Guardian, and Red Guardian has not really quite made it up there to begin with. So,
True. No, I completely agree with what you're saying there. I know what you're saying, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody listening kind
yeah,
of
because
understood.
obviously, like it could change when we see CCP videos, when I get my hands on him, when there's more information. All of that always changes my opinion of champions, and I never try to even pretend to kind of like cast final decision.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you remember whenever there was a time where they would give us a 3, and not a lot, but there was a time last year where they gave us a 3-star version of the champions quite often. They've done a little bit this year, but I kind of wish that every month they just gave you an opportunity instead of having to go to an arena and do it.
Let's be honest,
They just
like,
gave you an
can
opportunity to
get 3 and 4 stars easily though.
Yeah, well, I know, but it's just one of those things. I think a 3-star would be nice. Every 2 weeks, they'd give you the new champion as a 3-star to test out, and I think it would create more hype if the champion ended up being great. To like look at Shang-Chi. Remember they gave him away, and look how awesome. Or look at Guardian. Remember Guardian whenever he was given away too. Granted, he's not quite as useful because he needs the dupe and Max Sig, but I mean, still, he was given away.
Well, to be fair, this guy will need high Sig as well to reapply his raptors. Otherwise, you're gonna notice a significant lack of damage. But again, like in it, what's the best way to put it? So far, Spider-Man 2099 definitely has not impressed me. Hopefully, possibly, he turns out good, and maybe he has like a role. But it's also need to remember that this game has 200 champions, 200 plus champions, and there's about 30 champions that are actually kind of good enough to be used daily, kind of like by.
Yeah, they're like the ones that you could use in multiple situations. Yeah.
And
so
I currently don't think Spider is going to be one of those 20, 30 that you kind of see everywhere and all the time. But, you know, maybe, we'll see. Maybe, again, like, as also Apocalypse's damage seemed quite bad in the showcase, but that was just because he wasn't either ramped up or he wasn't, like, properly set up and things like that. And obviously, we all know how Apocalypse showed that he has more than enough damage. Or at the very least, definitely enough damage. But with Spidey, so far, I definitely am not on Spidey hype train, if there is such, but hopefully it's good.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, like I said, he'll be good for like diss track options, as long as he can power through most of that. His synergies are kind of okay.
Again,
I did like
being a diss track option says nothing. Every science champion is a diss track option.
I know.
It's literally every science champion is a diss track option.
That's true. I mean, most sciences. I did like some of his. I thought the Venom interaction was kind of meh. I did like the synergy, but the Carnage one seemed kind of cool because it added for the unblockables.
I think Venom one actually could be quite okay.
It could be okay, but it's just the cooldown.
The synergies didn't seem too great. Oh,
yeah.
This one, no, yeah, never mind. Penny Parker had the good one with Spider. Yep.
Yeah.
Either way, let's jump to Penny, I think.
So Penny, oh my God,
Penny looks much better.
I am very excited for Penny Parker. I think she'll probably be the second champ released if I had to worry about it.
I think she's going to be the second
champion. How awesome she is. She looks like, the best way I describe it is like Warlock, but instead of being bleed immune, she is poison, and she's also incinerate immune, which is awesome because, like they said in the showcase, Hazard Shift, which we're going to see more of now, Hazard Shift has always been kind of a problem because there's not a lot of champions that can really take that and just not worry about it, just shut down the node, so to speak, and she just looks fun to play too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Her animations are awesome as well.
animations are amazing. The way it looks like it's different than the one in the Spider-Verse movie, but it looks almost like a
I
Pacific
was
Rim
kind of hoping
robot.
it's gonna look a bit more similar to Spider-Verse movie, though.
Well, say that again. Sorry.
I was kind of hoping it's gonna be a bit more similar to Spider-Verse movie.
Yeah, but I still like the design. The
Yeah,
design
I still
is
like
really
it.
cool.
It just looks more like a Transformer than a Marvel character.
Yeah, it looks well. That's what I was saying. I think it looks more like Pacific Rim, the kaiju killers, things,
Yeah,
kind
pretty
of
much.
like generic robot. Or if anyone watches, I've always said one of my favorite animes was Neon Genesis Evangelion. Looks like the Avas, kind of, very much, including the little shoulder things and everything. Anyway, but the fact that she's going to have the ability to power control, she has the ability to be incinerate
Honestly, she
her
really-
opponents.
Really kind of reminds me of Warlock.
Yeah, very much.
Very much.
Very
so.
much like Warlock.
Especially with that passive automated heal block.
Yeah. The automated heal block. It very much feels like another version of Warlock that's just slightly different. Like I said,
Yeah.
not bleed immune, but poison immune.
Yeah, not bleed immune, poison immune, and incinerate immune.
And incinerate immune,
So
which is
technically,
great.
Warlock has more immunities, though.
Correct, because he's immune to bleed and poison, where she's poison and incinerate.
And he's also
but
immune to
again-
Cold Snap.
Cold Snap is, Cold Snap she's not immune to. That's right. I always forget about that about him. But yeah, but she's still. I think the reason being, even though, is because that poison incinerate immunity is a very strong
Yeah.
dual immunity to
Especially
have.
because of hazard shift lanes in Alliance War, which don't think
Yeah.
are going to go away anytime soon.
No, remember they're actually adding it to the
Yeah.
before the middle mini boss now on most of those. So
Definitely.
anyway, long story short, she's looking to be
Here's the
pretty
thing that really is
spicy.
pissing me off that I wanted to mention about the Spidey as well.
What's that?
Opponents suffer minus 100% true strike, true accuracy, and true sense effect ability. Actually, I really hate. This is just a lazy design saying, like, this is
Yeah.
kind of like that kid that made up rules in the middle of the game to prevent himself from losing. Like, you remember as a child, there was always that one cunt that's like, oh no, that doesn't count because I was facing that way, or I have a red shirt and you have a blue shirt.
Oh
and,
no, yeah, it's like
and-
all of a
and this
sudden
tag
I've
doesn't
discovered
count.
a
She's
new
like-
power.
And this is literally seems just like that juvenile, just like that childish, where it's like, this ability counters your ability. Nuh-uh.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I've all of a sudden, because you're so powerful, now I can do this.
Yeah,
because I just
I
discovered
hate it. And also, like, I really
did.
dislike what they're specifically doing to avoid an auto block and unstoppable counters.
Yeah,
Whereas
well, because
with the Spidey, your true strike, true damage champions deal 75% less damage to him.
well, and this is what I was, because in the video it said that she could auto block but not trigger parry. Well, I was like, okay, cool. I was like, well, that's fine. I'll just use Mole Man because Mole Man will just bypass that. And it said this line. I'm like, are you friggin' kidding me?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, that's so stupid. Now the thing is, would Venom still counter that? Because Venom technically, if there's Spider-Verse, that's not.
Well, no, but it's just a wait zone. It's not.
Oh, it's not auto block though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Never
But
mind. I forgot.
here's
I
the
forgot.
thing as well that I really dislike is this. First of all, is childish and stupid. It really is.
Yeah.
It really, really, really is not okay. It's lazy.
No.
It's intellectually
It is.
bankrupt. Second
This
of
was
all-
the one that kind of it had me scratching the
Second
head.
of all, also they did pretty much the same thing with slow debuff on Alliance War defense.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I remember that.
Where you have a wade tactic, and if a wade is prevented because champion is slowed, then they still gain basically the same amount of power. Basically, it doesn't matter. Basically, slow effect is kind of negated there. And then the offensive
Correct.
tactic kind of like that is forced upon you, no choice anymore, forced upon you. Tells you that you're going to be applying slow whenever you drop a heavy attack, which can be like, completely unrelated to trying to apply slow. And legitimately, I probably don't want that tactic active on me like at all, because it just is hindering things. But what I'm getting at is that they effectively, for purpose of Alliance War, ruin slow. But you need to find alternative options to deal with evades and stuff. And obviously that is
Right.
true strike, true accuracy, and stuff like that. And now they pull shit like this out. It generally
Yeah.
feels like they don't know what to do. Just like they don't know how to counter Quake. They don't have the balls to nerf her or change her or do anything with her. They're not releasing her as a 6-star and hoping that the problem eventually goes away. But meanwhile, they're just gonna flat out put, Quake and Ghost counters everywhere and hurt other champions. And this seems something similar to that. This seems something what a person that's getting shouted at by their boss and is desperate and does not know how to sort out an issue would do. This does not seem like something that an artist would do. This seems like something that a child would do. Like I said,
absolutely.
Oh, no, it doesn't count because I have a blue shirt kind of thing. Genuinely, it's just ugly. I hope this is the first and last time we see it in the game.
Unfortunately, I don't think it will be. But
I don't think it will be. I don't hope because it automatically makes and here's the problem. I like Penny Parker, but this line alone makes me also hate her, or at the very least, it makes me heavily dislike whoever made her.
I was gonna say this line alone just makes me hate that Kabam thinks this is acceptable to do in the game at this point.
It generally is not okay. I'm definitely gonna make a rant video about this tomorrow because no matter I'm excited for Penny Parker. I can't wait to play with her.
Yeah.
On Kabam Tip, what are we talking about? Opponents suffer minus 100% true strike, true accuracy, true sense effectability. I'm saying that this is like a spoiled child from childhood who made up rules in the game as they went along because they were losing. This is like, this tag didn't count because you have a red shirt and I have a blue shirt and blue, that's the rule now or something like that. This generally sounds intellectually bankrupt. And I will definitely make a rant video about this tomorrow, because also the same thing has been done to Slow, where Ultron has a slow immunity, which, okay, I could kind of deal with, but also Slow has been destroyed in Alliance War defense, where it's basically made pointless, and then you force people to use Slow for a lot of champions. And I hate it. I hate everything this type of thinking represents, and I will definitely rant about this like a madman because I never want to see this again.
Yeah, this is what I'm basically equivalent. KT's got his view of it, but what I'm saying is like the game is going on 7 years now, and you can't all of a sudden say now we're introducing this ability that takes all these champions you ranked up, all these champions you've grown to know, all these champions you've grown to play,
doesn't count. It
and
literally
we're just
says
saying,
it doesn't count.
And now that ability that you have in that champion doesn't count because I made this up. Ha ha.
And
that could be a node.
Yeah.
That could maybe be a node and get away with it.
And you know what's
going to
be next?
Somebody's ability.
What's going to be next? There's going to be next a Cosmic Champion that's going to say true ultimate and says prevent evade ability accuracy, so prevent all evades and auto block, and ability accuracy of this true ultimate cannot be negated.
It's just gonna. It's a slippery slope. Let's put it that way.
It's just childish. It's like you can design different abilities and don't call it auto block, call it something else, or you introduce a new mechanic that doesn't interact with anything. Right?
Yeah, because you're that just doesn't make any sense.
Don't call it auto blocks. Call it, I don't know, auto teleport or shrink ray or whatever, and mix in evade with miss mechanic and auto block and put it all together. Be creative. But this is opposite of being creative.
Exactly. I think it's bankrupt.
Exactly.
Ideas.
It's like, because we have evade, we have miss, we have auto block. Figure out a fourth thing. Figure out fly, where she lifts up in the air for X amount of time, and she can't be hit while she can still attack her top or something. You can figure out something rather than saying your champions don't count.
Well, I was gonna say, don't we have invisibility? Why couldn't she have invisibility instead?
Oh, but okay, but then we could have miscounters, right? But again, what I'm talking about is just denying other champion abilities for no other reason than the fact that you cannot figure out a way for her to function without it. As in, like, literally, instead of auto block, it could have been whatever else you want. Robotic assembly flight or whatever, backup flight or something.
Yeah, Alan has a point that with Gears coming, we could
Oh
be
yeah.
prepared. This is
Oh,
only the
gears.
beginning,
I
but
don't
I
even
don't
want to
think
discuss
so.
gears, man. Thanks for depressing me again.
Well, but
fucking
Kabantip,
get it.
remember he's responsible for making those.
Yeah,
so
I know,
let's not rag on him when we haven't seen him or heard anything. I'm just saying.
Okay. I said
I
stop
would
depressing
understand it
me
more.
from an aspect of that I'm scared shitless from gears. I'm not saying that they're gonna be awful. I'm saying that I'm afraid of them. I don't want to think about them until I have to.
All right, I think we're getting really off topic.
We're getting off
we're
topic
getting
here.
kinda
Yeah, but
far.
I genuinely hate, and I
let's-
hope we never ever see text like this.
Kabantip, please. It's okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Don't worry about it,
that,
man.
But I just hope we never see text like this again on any champion. It's kind of imagine where a champion really Abomination 3.0 inflict poison on opponent, poison immunity doesn't count.
Yeah, super
Then it's
poison.
gonna be
That's what it'd
like
called.
Nick Fury
Super mega
rebooted,
poison.
inflict bleed on the opponent's bleed immunity
Super
does
mega
not
bleed.
count. It's
Super mega
literally
bleed.
what it
You
is.
could bleed
That
even
is
if you're a robot.
literally what it is.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the last thing. Penny Parker looks pretty decent. We'll wait to play in her too.
Yeah. Okay. Let's carry on. So she has power control on level 1 and level 3, I believe. Power burn.
Yeah.
Power.
Correct.
Power
Power
burn.
burn. Yeah.
Over X amount of time, you drain 75. Also, she basically gains these charges that every time opponent fills a bar of power, and she gains charge. And you can also gain extra charges with your level 1, and if your level 1 pushes opponent past the bar of power, then she gains an extra 3 charges. Basically, you can get like 9 or 10 charges with one level 1, and yeah, and those charges basically fuel your level 2 and fuel your auto block accuracy mechanic. So she has that auto block accuracy mechanic, where for each charge you have basically 8% chance to auto block any and all incoming attacks. If you play her relatively decent, for most part you're gonna have 10 to 12 to 13 charges, and that means you're gonna have 100% chance to auto block any and all incoming attacks. Unfortunately, that probably is also gonna happen when you face her, where she has very significant chance to auto block. The bright side, parry doesn't trigger. On the bad side, when she's auto blocking, surprise mother flipping surprise, you take damage and you lose power, kind of like hitting Red Skull's block.
Red Skull, yeah.
Except this time she auto blocks. So imagine if you're fighting Red Skull that has very high chance to auto block and is immune to True Strike. So that automatically seems quite annoying. And she's also kind of stun immune, where she shrugs off stun when she purifies, kind of like Medusa does. And when she's blocking, she cannot be stunned. That's kind of countering Apocalypse. And she resists heavy attacks.
Which takes out Magneto.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens to Magneto. Because technically Magneto cannot be auto blocked.
Technically.
And also she can gain power kind of like Blade when you parry. Except power over time. Whenever you parry, you gain 6% of bar power.
Yeah. So, again, not trying to break her down too much because, again, we need to wait until she's released. We play with her. We can break her down further. She just has a lot of interesting
Her sig ability is
things.
insanely useful, though.
Oh, yeah. What was it again?
When the opponent fills a bar of power or recovers more than 5% of max health at once, inflict heal block passive, preventing the opponent from healing for 6 seconds. Whenever the opponent heals, well, heal block deal 15% of the health they would have gained as a burst of incinerate damage. If the Salve Master is active, that is removed. So, awesome.
It's basically like, it's like what Warlock does when they're healing. It drains their power. It does this one. It gives them incinerate and heal block, so they can't heal off of it while they're dealing the damage is being dealt with them. I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. That will definitely be good. But yeah, I will say overall, I'm just going to be cautiously optimistic that things that may not be as bad as they seem, and we'll just have to wait.
Well, no, as a champion, she seems awesome. Like, as a champion, she seems like a potent defender, and and also a good attacker. Because this is one of the best heal blocks in the game. Period. Because it is passive, so it cannot be shrugged off. It activates automatically. Right. Wonderful. And even if like, because it activates automatically when opponent heals, or when you push them past bar powers, that means significant amount of time is just going to be triggering on its own anyways. It's also going to be annoying to fight off against, especially if you're on Liquid Courage Double Edge. But in general, also heard like level 2 seems to possess a significant amount of damage, and also very potent incinerate damage. You can see here like 14,000 something per tick, and that is just barely starting there, so there's going to be plenty of ticks, and that special attack alone did just under 200k damage, I think. So yeah, seemingly she will also have quite decent damage. So out of the both champions, initially I'm definitely more excited for
yeah.
Definitely more excited for Penny than I am for Spider. And again, I'm not saying Spider's going to be awful. I'm not trying to say that at all. I am, however, saying that he does not look impressive at all, at the very least to me. Based on everything I have read, I genuinely initially think that he's a more finicky, annoying version of Red Guardian. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll have to wait and see. But we have been going quite a bit. I know we had a lot to cover.
Yeah, we need to,
One
we
last
need to go
thing.
now.
One
last
thing.
Yes.
By the way, everybody, you've been asking for it. It's here. It's coming. Gold Boost incoming August 23rd through the 30th, 12 p.m.
Yeah, there's going to be kind of like
when they
3 things happening, which is going to be the 20% gold boost, which you can talk about in a bit, and then there's also going to be a 7-day calendar that gives you like a 5-star crystal and a 4-star crystal and tier 4 basic, whatever, kind of like small celebration. Correct. And we're also going to have those Legends crystals, which are kind of neat to have. But obviously the gold boost is the thing that everybody waited for.
Everybody's been waiting. I know KT's got a bunch saved up. I've got a bunch saved up. A
Good
lot of
time
people
to
have a
grind
bunch
arena
saved
as well,
up.
by the way, that week.
Very good time. A good time to, if you have the sigil, get the sigil. You get that daily or weekly quest too, so you can use it as soon as it goes live that day. But yeah, that's something else. That's basically
so it's
going to end on
start
a high note.
23rd to 30th, so at end of August.
End of August, which, just for everybody noticing, that's a Monday and ends on Monday. So Monday to Monday. That being said, a lot we covered today, a lot of information that dropped with a new month. It is August of 2021, if you can believe. August 1st for a lot of people, August 2nd for some.
Yeah, and well, next week we'll be back again, and we're going to have a new week of Summer of Pain. New events are going to start, and we're going to know more about the new champions, and it's going to be an awesome week, hopefully, because, the release of update week is always quite interesting and busy.
Oh, definitely. Just so everyone knows, KT's first poll of who are we more excited for, Penny Parker or Spider-Man 2099 with 260 votes. Penny Parker has 71% of the votes, Spider-Man 2099 with 29%. So it looks like everybody's kind of, and that was before we talked about it primarily, so looks like everybody's on the same page. They're thinking Penny Parker could be the more juicier of the two.
Spidey doesn't look as impressive, but I definitely want to give the champion a chance as well. I will definitely get, at the very least, bare minimum, a 5-star for myself. And, maybe he just looked not that amazing initially, and maybe once we actually get our hands on him, we can make new judgments based on new information, and hopefully he's going to be great.
Yeah. Either way, the champions look very good.
Hype is definitely for Penny.
Yeah, hype is there for Penny. I think she'll be the second champ probably released. It'll be an interesting week. I look forward to finding out what all new information we'll be talking about next week. But KT, I will be back for 100% here this week, barring any unforeseen circumstances. I thank everybody for being here today. Do remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and don't forget, during KT's normal streams, not the podcast, he does answer questions from the chat. We will be able to answer any question you could possibly come up with if we know the answer or you just want our opinion. I think that's everything. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the channel. Not just subscribe, but become a member. There are different levels of membership. Some members have the ability to have a general voice kind of sayings and sounds that play during normal streams, and then a higher membership tier allows you to have your own personal everyone. That only you have to be able to use. So.
We have tons of cool stuff. We have video clips as well now in streams.
If it bleeds.
Yep. Video clips. We have the ability to. Don't forget, also, you have the ability to join our Discord server. We have links in the description. We also have the line chat, and we also have a special line chat for all of the members that actually pay KT. You have an exclusive line chat, so we appreciate that support. Don't let him become the slap 2 for you and just go around smacking the hell out of you. But yeah, everybody, we appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here for a very long episode of KT Time. I'm Mandalorian. That's KT. We'll see you next week. Anything else, KT? All you.
No, it's all good.
Get out.
Time for them to get out.
I said no.
Go out and see the sun or get some sleep. Bye.
Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the...
I'm in danger!